Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast superhero edition. It has been a very long time since we had one of these episodes talking about the world of superheroes in regards to movies and games. It's been a long, long time. So we got the captain with us, Mr. Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I think the last time we were together was for Batman Day.
Yeah, Batman Day, September 16th. That episode came out, so a little over 2 months ago, and then and that was just Batman Day stuff. But in regards to like superheroes, man, we haven't been on here since Last episode came out July 4th,
Wow.
and I could man, let me read you this title of the July 4th one, a little bit one. James Gunn picks his Superman. What are your thoughts on the Flash movie? Like that was the last.
Dang, Flash was the last movie that came out that we reviewed together.
Yeah, man. Let me
That's
let me
crazy.
let me see the full. Let me see the full title of this episode. It's crazy, yeah. What are your thoughts on the Flash movie? Superman and Lois season 3 ends with a bang. MCU projects get delayed and more because of the writer's strike. Yeah, we talked about Superman, Lois, Flash movie. The Secret Invasion just begun. The
hmm
Craven trailer just dropped. Across the Spider-Verse, artists were overworked. And Chadwick
hmm
Boseman got his Hollywood Walk of Fame. A few things we talked about. That was July 4th, man. That's summer.
Yeah.
We're about to hit
Hey.
winter.
Yes, sir. And we're back discussing some big rumors, news, got some previews.
yeah,
Been a
we
jam-packed couple of weeks.
yeah we got a lot to hit on in our return back, but let's start off with the rumors. This came from a Variety article just a couple days ago that dropped by Tatiana Siegel, and basically talking about Marvel's in a flux. Like they don't know what to do with Jonathan Majors. These movies recently haven't been hitting, all of that. And now there's talks about, and they're afraid the Marvels, which we're going to talk about a little bit, is going to not do so well as long as these other movies. There is random rumors talking about bringing the original six Avengers back. Byron, I know I shared the article. What are your thoughts on some of the things she said about these past movies and shows just not hitting? And even though the one bright spot obviously was Guardians Volume, we didn't even talk about Guardians. No, we did talk about
We
Guardians Volume
did,
3. Yeah,
because
we did.
Mitch came
Yeah,
on
Mitch
that
came on that one.
episode.
Yeah, so that was our real last one.
Yeah.
But Guardians 3 did really well. What are your thoughts on hearing about these movies not hitting and bringing the original six Avengers back?
So I'll start with the original six coming back. Like, if this is true, I'm 50-50 on the decision.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's like rebooting a comic book storyline, which they do all the time in a comic. So it's, kind of cool. But then I'm like, so what was the point of killing them off in the first place if you're just gonna reboot them when times get tough? Like, do you not trust your storyline that you're creating with Kang? Do you not trust your actors? It's weird, man. It's a weird time.
Yeah, and just to recap, the original six Avengers, Iron Man is he died in Endgame. Black Widow died in Endgame. You could basically say Captain America died in Endgame. He has no he's basically dead.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty much. I mean, even if even if the old one, no powers, nothing. He's done.
hmm
Thor, you saw him in Thor 4. He's basically in a surrogate father now.
hmm
Banner, you've seen him around. You saw him in She-Hulk. You saw him in Shang-Chi. He has the cast from doing the snap, so he's almost borderline not doing anything. Hawkeye's passed on the mantle to Kate Bishop. So
hmm
that one's pretty much out. I mean, I know they talked about Thor 5. I don't know if they'll do that, but and Hulk isn't getting a movie, but he came back with the sun out of nowhere. So they're basically all done. So, like you said, rebooting would be cool, but then if you're rebooting, you're running into a DC problem because DC's had this problem for 10 years.
They keep rebooting things instead of having a straight through storyline like Marvel did with the Infinity War saga or Infinity Stone saga. So now they're saying, okay, we're going to talk about the Merchant War saga. with Kang being the major villain, but then now there are rumors that they're going to replace Kang with Doctor Doom because of the failure of Ant-Man 3. So basically, it's not related to Jonathan Majors and his legal issues, which Jonathan does have his trial schedule for November 29th, so the next 3 weeks. We should know more about his future. But in our group chat, Mitch, our Dragon Ball expert, brought up a great point that you don't need to replace Kang with Doctor Doom because of variants. Like they set it up in Loki season one, where not all variants look alike. Case in point, Sylvie is a variant of Loki that had like an alligator variant of Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So you could keep Kang, but just have replace him with another actor if you now choose to cut ties with Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, and Mitch was right on that. You can just do a whole other actor. You can make the Kang variant be the guy from Guardians 3,
Good.
who's the villain, so he still has something to do. I just, with the original six, and then there's like a rumor going on some random site saying that Robert re-signed with Marvel, which I'm just like, I highly doubt that unless it's confirmed by him or Marvel. But it makes no sense because you did all this work building up these legacy characters,
Mm-hmm.
building up. I mean, we haven't seen them as a group. Like, let's just go through the legacy character stuff. I mean, from Iron Man stuff, you're gonna have Ironheart. I'm not gonna consider Rhodey a legacy character. He's been there since Iron Man 2, but like
Mm-hmm.
Ironheart and Peter Parker, Spider Man. From Captain America, you got Sam Wilson, who's the new Captain America. You still got Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thor, I don't, well, it changed because we thought he was not going to survive. We thought Jane was going to live, but you still got Valkyrie there and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Hawkeye, we already said you got Kate. Hulk, you got She Hulk, and I know that's not really a popular opinion. I know a lot of people didn't really mess with She Hulk, but that's a legacy person and his son, which is strange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Black Widow, you got Elena. So
Yeah.
I mean, they've all been replaced in a sense, and the legacy is continuing, but it's just like we with those original six, obviously you had the first 10 years from Iron Man 1 to Avengers 1 to Avengers 2. So you saw them work together. Two movies. Avengers
Mm-hmm.
3 where they were split up. Avengers 4 where they're back together again. This group, we don't even, like we say this every time we do this, we don't even know who the Avengers are right now.
We don't, which is surprising, but there's Captain America 4 coming out next year, so we'll see if they reestablish what the Avengers are going forward in that movie.
Yeah. And I also think, I mean, Ant-Man didn't do so well, but obviously Kang was praised. Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
Majors' performance was super praised, and we're like, all right, they can do some things, but they're phase four, there was no connection. I know that was their own different thing. Like, we're gonna like not connect all these things and everyone's doing their own thing. That was different because all the other stuff we all knew, Infinity Stones, Thanos was the end.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know Kang is, but it's just like you cheapen some depths, man. If you bring all these people back.
You definitely cheapened some deaths. I was on Twitter, retweeted the rumor of Robert Downey Jr. coming back. They said, "What was the point of me crying then?" I was like, "Well, well, it's a
Right.
very excellent point."
And this is one of those things where it's Marvel's gonna be like, so is anytime they're in trouble, they're gonna try and call these six people who all of them said like all of them fulfilled their I mean, maybe besides like Hulk, Thor, and Hawkeye, I don't know what's left for them, but
Hmm.
Captain America, I mean, Evans, Johansson, and Downey all completed what they were supposed to do.
Yep, they completed their contract obligations and now have moved on to doing other things. Like Robert Downey Jr. was just an Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So I don't know what you would do to get those six back. Like, because I don't
Well,
even know if getting them back would be enough. Because if you're going to do it, one, how much are you willing to pay all six of them to come back and be the
hmm
stars of the movie? Which means, oh, Shang-Chi, all you other people kick rocks, basically, your side characters. So you're going to have to pay all six of them big money again. And also, you're probably going to need, they're not going to agree to, and you're going to have to probably get the Russos back. That's another piece that people are talking about. The Russos have been gone since Endgame.
Yes.
So if you're gonna have the original six come back for an Avengers movie, you probably need to also get the Russos too.
Yeah, because the Russos have done wonderful things for the MCU. They directed the first Avengers and
No, they
many.
first and second were Josh Whedon, which is kind of crazy to
Right,
think
right,
about.
right, right.
Their
I,
first
I always
movie
forget
was
about him,
their first movie was Winter Soldier.
which
And
was amazing.
they did Civil War,
Which was amazing.
and then they did Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah, so four great movies under their tenure. So I
Hmm.
think, like you said, you would have to bring them back if you want to have another great Avengers movie. Like I know Daniel Breton, I think is his last name, the
Hmm.
director who did Shang-Chi, which was great, is supposed
Yes.
to direct the next Avengers movie. So like if you bring the Russos back, do you replace him? Like so many decisions that Kevin Feige needs to make. Because like I feel like if you bring them back, are you gonna scrap the storyline that you're telling now with Kang? Do you keep it going?
Yeah, well, and even if you bring them back as like, oh, we're different universes versions, so their current universes won't stay dead. It's like
Hmm.
okay, but still, I mean, it's such a strange thing. Or what if you get in a predicament where one person says, "I'm not doing it unless the other does it," and then you go
Wow.
through that round robin.
Well, well, that'd be crazy because, like you said, we still have Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth, so they're for all we know, they're still signed on to do other shows or movies or what have you. So the only four you need to bring back would be Scarlet, RDJ, and Captain America.
And Renner, because who knows if
And
Renner
Ren-
wants to do it? Renner almost died a year or two ago.
that is true because he got in a snowplow
Mm-hmm.
accident. I don't know, man.
Man, they're kind of. I don't want to. You could run into the Christian Bale thing because remember, man, in 20, and they still trying it. In 2013, Warner Brothers showed up to his house with 60 million. He said, "I'm not doing it if no one's not directing." Period. Turned out 60 mil,
Man, you have to have some major loyalty to someone to turn down 60 mil.
and then they try to get him for the flat. He said, "Is no one? No, I ain't doing it. I'm staying true to my boy."
What if RDJ does that? Like, I'm not coming back if you don't bring the Russos back.
Or if he says you're not bringing John Favreau, who directed Iron Man 1,
Yeah,
or I ain't doing it if Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't come back for Pepper.
yeah,
Because what's the point of bringing Robert if he doesn't have an interaction scene with Pepper
right. Or here's a daughter.
or Morgan? Yeah. Or you could just Warner's like, hey, if the whole original six ain't doing it, then I ain't doing it. Period. Because they've
Yeah,
talked about this stuff. They've all said each of them have said, man, we left our character so perfectly. It'd have to take something really interesting. Can't be a money grab.
and I feel like at this point it would just be a money grab because it's being that this phase five, has not been as successful as like the first three phases. Which, but there were some duds in like first three phases that people didn't like Avengers Ultron. Like a lot of people don't rank it as in their lower Marvel movies.
Yeah, even though that one set up all of what was to come.
Yeah,
So we'll see, man. It's crazy that Marvel is talking about. I know it's just rumors, but something that's been brought up. That's like, hey man, we might need the original six back. Like maybe it's don't overwork your visual effects worker and have good stories, and then they'll come. And
yeah,
even this story, I mean, before this original 60, there was talk of Ali leaving Blade because that was going in the crapper.
yeah. Because he didn't like the way the storyline was being written, so they fired the writers, hired more writers. So that got pushed back because of the strike and because they had to hire more writers. So as far as I know, he's still signed on to be Blade, but we'll see what happens with that one.
Let's see, man. It's something we're definitely gonna have to keep track of. But and I feel like that's going to be dominating the rest of this podcast because the Marvels comes out November 10th.
Hmm.
Basically, Captain Marvel 2. You have obviously Carol Danvers, you got Kamala Khan, you got Monica Rapino. All these are going to be the three leads of the movie. Nick Fury's in it. And their powers are all going to be connected in some way. And they're going to be fighting. We don't know who she is. Female Ronin, Ronin's daughter, maybe
Hmm.
something. She's related to Ronin someone because she has beef with Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
Byron, what are your expectations for this movie? I'm already gonna say now I think Kamala Khan's gonna steal the show, but what are your thoughts on this one? The first Captain Marvel was the last movie before Endgame.
Hmm.
First female led solo movie in Marvel made $1 billion. I don't think it was gonna
Hmm.
do that, but what are your expectations for this one, man?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna do a billion because I think like pre-ticket sales are like at 55 million, which
Mm-hmm.
was right around what The Flash was getting for pre-sale.
Which is
So I don't
crazy
think
to think
it,
about.
yeah. So I don't think it would do a billion. But I am intrigued to see what they do with this movie. Because I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel. I played her in the
Mm-hmm.
Avengers game. Watched her show that was on Disney Plus. Iman Vellani, who plays Kamala Khan, does an excellent job. So I could see her still in the show. They're gonna figure out why they keep switching places every time they use their powers. The main villain, from what I was reading earlier, is a Kree warrior who wields a hammer that looks like Ronan, the accuser's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why she has beef with Captain Marvel because she is Kree like Ronan was. So I'm excited to see what this movie does. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to go watch with everyone. Then you'll hear our review on that in the coming weeks on the Marvels because this is the last Marvel movie of 2023, which is crazy to think about. And I think another thing, just more Marvel stuff. Obviously, they didn't for well, I guess they could see it because they're Marvel slash their big boss, Disney boss, Bob Iger, has really lost a lot of fans during the strike stuff. So you probably could have
Hmm.
saw the strikes coming because they pushed a lot of things back.
Yes, they did.
So
So I think the next movie after um, the Marvels is Deadpool 3. I could be wrong.
which will have hype because the return. Well, it depends on if they said they're not going to cheapen Logan's death in Logan. So, but it'll have hype with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. So we'll see on that.
Yeah.
But there was a project that ended, Secret Invasions. Byron. A lot of people didn't like that ending because why do you need the Avengers if Amelia Clark has everyone's powers now?
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with the ending of Secret Invasion. So basically, because we haven't the last time we talked about Secret Invasion was just starting, so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna do like a quick recap. So it was revealed that Rhodey was indeed a Skrull, but they never said when he was replaced. They just said, "Oh, you've been, here at this compound for a very long time." So they just left it to the imagination. Gravik, who was the main villain in Secret Invasion, was a Skrull who eventually ended up killing Talos in episode 5. So Gravik basically becomes a super Skrull because, unbeknownst to us, that Fury was collecting DNA samples after Endgame. So he basically had a vial of everyone who was at the final battle's DNA, which he gave to Gravik, but Fury was actually Gaia, who's Talos' daughter, in disguise. So she became a super Skrull to avenge her father's death. She wins and beats Gravik and saves all the humans that were in prison in the Skrull compound. She ends up leaving to work with British intelligence. Fury goes off to space to work with Saber, with his wife, who was also a Skrull. Also, the President of the United States vows to find every single Skrull left on the planet and execute them. So which Talos said their numbers were in the millions in an earlier episode. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Secret Invasion. We got a Super Skrull walking around with every Avengers power,
Who probably
working for
won't
the
even be
British
in any of the
intelligence.
probably won't be in any final fights when it comes down to it.
No, she probably won't. They'll probably just let her Do our own thing, like they did with the oh, what is that big thing that's in the ocean from the Eternals?
Oh my gosh, the whatever, yeah, the whatever eternal thing that they just left in the ocean.
Haven't brought it up since then. That
That
movie
was the
came
one
out two
that
years ago.
that was the one that it's funny because on my time hop thing 2 years ago, the Eternals trailer dropped. I
Hmm.
don't know if it was the first one was just like, eh. That second trailer was heat because I got me
Oh
into
yeah.
it. Because when Cersei's boyfriend's like, why didn't y'all? I might watch that tonight. Why didn't y'all help against Thanos? She's like, we were ordered not to, and then he said, by who? And then the judge came up in the next slot. I was like, oh,
Yes.
he was heat.
Yeah, he basically said he passed some judgment on all of us.
So when's he coming
What are they
back?
gonna do with that? Right.
So they all just are they all man? Are they all sitting at the barbershop waiting for their cut? Like just all
Apparently.
waiting. And the barber, Kevin Feige, he's like, hey, I got you next. And Byron, you already know what type of barbershops we talking about. And when they say they got you next, that's 20, 30 minutes if you're lucky.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
And then
get there as soon as you can.
you got the judge sitting in the chair. You got Kang waiting. Like they're all
Hang
just,
waiting.
who knows
Rumored
what's
to be Doctor Doom waiting.
dude. Man, when's the talking to come back that Thanos has to come back?
Oh man, that would be wild.
Because man, he said I'm gonna come back, and he took them a turn. Like then shoot. Speaking of Thanos, you got Thanos' brother randomly pulled on the Eternals. He's like, hey, your friends might need y'all help.
Right, I know how to find them. Okay. Where have you been?
Like, so you didn't want to come. So yeah, you didn't want to come help fight your brother, really?
Right.
See, like those are the type of things that piss the fans off.
Yeah. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? The loose ends, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Like Nick Fury really just collected all these people's blood and gave it to some. I don't want to say something random, but come on, dude. So what you about to
Right.
do when what if she turns evil? What you about to do? She got your whole team's DNA.
Whole team's DNA.
Man, that's like shout out to the college football pod. That's like you basically got your own Connor Stallions over there. She stole everybody's signs. Like, come on now.
Bro.
Come on now.
Yo, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, working for British intelligence, man. So hopefully we'll have a great relationship with the British intelligence. They don't turn on us because, man, we're gonna have to get Captain Marvel from space. Like, you gotta come back
Who
real quick.
cares? She got Captain Marvel's powers. She got everyone's powers, and
That's
she's at
true.
one location. You have to move heaven and earth just to get some of them in the same compound.
Facts.
Like it's crazy, bro. I knew the Avengers, the original six were done in Hawkeye when Clint was at the tower, seeing all six of their names crying. I was like, hey, bro,
Mm-hmm.
that shit done. That's done.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Like, yeah, what if the original six come back? Like, he's already cried for the deaths of, you know, RDJ and more so Black Widow because they were like best friends, but like
Thor got Tony and Nat's name tattooed on his back. Because
right.
in Ragnarok, you see they got all his people tattooed. Tony, Nat, Heimdall, all the crew, his boys.
Man, he didn't even know his brother running around.
Hey, that's a perfect segue. So going into that, I mean Loki season two, yeah, season two. It's been
Yep.
a good old bright spot, Byron. And like you said, man, he's still. I know people talked about him seeing Thor, but how the hell are you gonna like what? How's Thor gonna be like? What the hell?
Bro, you've been alive this whole time?
Oh, not exactly.
Well, true. But yeah, Loki season two, man, has been good, just as good as the first season. Shout out to the writers, actors, and crew. They've all done an amazing job. I just want to talk about like recap of like the last couple of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So the end of episode 4 caused some waves on Twitter because we're not sure if it reboots the MCU or not. So basically, what's going on is that when Sylvie killed He Who Remains You was a Kang variant. It caused all the timelines to branch, which caused the loom to overheat. So the loom is a device created by He Who Remains to take all the branching timelines and then make them into one timeline, aka the sacred timeline, which the MCU is basically what the MCU is. The end of episode 4, the loom shatters because it couldn't fix it in time, so all the timelines explode. And then in episode 5, the TVA or the Time Variance Authority is gone. All the TVA workers go back to their real lives and don't remember what the TVA is except for Loki and Sylvie. So episode 6, which is coming out this week, is they're going to try and fix the loom before it breaks because Loki can now control what is time slipping, so he can basically move about time. So that's what's going on in season 2.
Yeah, so that's gonna be crazy. Like, so what's gonna be the end game of that? Like, what's gonna be the final episode? Is it gonna tie into the? Does the final episode come out before the Marvels?
It comes out the same week, so it'll come out Wednesday. Loki season 2, the final episode will come out Wednesday, and then the Marvels come out Friday.
Like, is it gonna tie into that? We're gonna see that. I know some rumors that they're talking about the an OG is gonna pull up in the Captain Marvel end credits, which okay, we don't know who that'll be, but it's interesting because again, Loki doing all this, and ain't nobody else know.
Nobody else know that the timeline is breaking, and that Victor Timely, which is a Kang variant, is working with them to fix the timeline.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So we don't know if he's like gonna turn and become,
Kang.
yeah, Kang. So yeah, episode 6 is gonna be wild. I'm excited for it.
And then speaking of TV shows, a wild thing came. I mean, Echo's trailer came out of the blue.
Yep. That is the next Disney Plus show. Comes out in January. It'll be a 6 episode season. From the trailer, it looks like a gritty Daredevil Punisher, like the ones that were on Netflix.
It's their
So,
first TVMA show.
yep, first one that's going to be rated TVMA. They have some of the writers from Breaking Bad writing the script, so that's going to be amazing because Breaking Bad was an amazing show. So I'm excited. You got to have Daredevil and Kingpin reprising their roles. There was a snippet of Daredevil like in his red suit from the Netflix show. Kingpin was in the beginning beating the hell out of some random thug in the street with bloody hands. So well, if it's gonna be gritty like the Netflix shows, I'm all for it.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. And that's something that would help more. They need Daredevil back. They need that to start
Yeah,
because they
that's
need to
supposed to
get rid
come
of all
out
those
next year
rumors.
too.
They need to get rid of all those rumors that all right, Punisher back in there. People say that's confirmed. Jessica Jones might be in there. Like we need all those. We need that confirmed because I know that's the one everyone's waiting. And I know he was probably going to get. He's going to say I'm not obligated to say, but both
hmm
Daredevil and Kingpin will be at Galaxy Con Columbus next month. So
I'm excited. I'm excited for GalaxyCon, man.
so definitely have a pod after that, especially since this will be our second one and we know the ins and outs, know how long we need to be there to get some good content for y'all. And I mean, last year when we went to go, I mean, John Wesley Shipp, aka the original Flash, he was really dropping gems.
hmm
He dropped some real gems about the Arrowverse and things he was doing. It's kind of crazy. That was like it's just last year playing Flash. So,
Yeah, crazy.
but also with Echo, my only concern, because they got it out the way, and I know you talked about this on your podcast a long time ago. Most people were hyped for She-Hulk just when they found out Daredevil was going to be in it.
That is true.
So now at least they got it out the trailer, they got it out the way. Hey, Daredevil's in this, Kingpin's in this. We got it out the way.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it was like halfway through the season, and they dropped that. Oh, Daredevil's gonna be in for the rest of the season for She-Hulk. So yeah, it's good. You got it out the way, so people who are just in it for Daredevil can. Well, I guess they're still gonna have to wait because we don't know what episode he's gonna be in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then they're doing this Marvel Spotlight thing.
Yeah, so with Echo, Marvel Spotlight, they created it as a branch of the MCU, which is focusing on like the street level stake stories, so like more grounded and character driven stories. So what I'm gathering is that they're not going to be necessarily tied to the larger MCU continuity, so more like side comics. I like it because then you don't have to wonder which shows or movies interlace with the bigger MCU narrative. But I would not be surprised if they came out and said that like Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight were part of the Marvel spotlight.
Isn't the first Marvel Spotlight Nick Fury?
Um,
I thought I saw that it was Nick.
I don't know. I just know they said that Echo will be branded under the Marvel Spotlight like a branch.
Okay. Okay. Because I was like, when I maybe I saw a thing that they said Nick Fury is the first one. I was like, oh, so the guy who founded, like, was a founder of Shield and is in space. That's the first person we're doing. Okay.
He was also
Okay.
working with Saber, which is
Yeah.
like Space Shield.
Yeah. So all right, man. We'll see. We'll see. Just going switching to DC real quick because I mean one of the last things, Superman and Lois. It was now season 4 is going to be their last season. Obviously, they ended season 3 with an absolute banger of bangers with Doomsday and Superman fighting on the moon. So
Yeah,
I guess with this, I'm okay then with it being the end because if you're gonna end season 3 with Doomsday, you really don't have that much left unless like Darkseid's coming, and we know that's not happening. So I'm okay with it from that standpoint from the story. Obviously, I'm sad that it's ending because hey, this might be the best show DC's ever made. Like, and I'm saying that like seeing all the Arrowverse, like this might be the best ever. And I don't think I could say that and be like, oh, you're talking crazy. Like from production wise, effects wise, looks wise, hell, they even gave this show an extra sometimes 10, 15 minutes after the hour. So
facts. Yeah, man. Superman and Lois season 4 will be their last season. Like you said, I'm sad because it'll be officially be the end of the Arrowverse, and
yep.
man, we've had some great content about the Arrowverse. So season 4 should go out with a bang. Doomsday, Lex Luthor gonna be the final villains in season 4.
Man, that Lex is crazy. That boy
Yeah.
crazy. That boy told
Which
that.
is amazing because they've had two different Lex Luthors and they've both been amazing,
Mhm.
which is very hard to do.
That boy told Bizarro, "Let me kill you and kill you and kill you again." I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, what? But nah,
All
it's kind of
stuff.
crazy because this really ends the commitment with DC and the CWs. Now I don't know what the hell the CW is about to do, and it's crazy. Like 10 plus years of superhero content on the CW, and then when it ends, you're just like, is that really it?
I think we would have a different perspective if it didn't go out the way it went out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just weird. Like, because I don't think she's gonna because I don't know what she's doing, but I don't think Melissa's ever gonna be on these last episodes. It'd be cool,
It would.
but I don't know. I mean Flash did it right. They were about to end without Oliver and Barry having an episode together. They did that episode perfectly.
Hmm.
So I don't know, man. It's weird how this is really like that's it. And now it's
It
all
is.
James Gunn shows on whatever HBO Max whenever those start.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know when they're supposed to start, but we will see if it can keep up with what the CW did with the Arrowverse.
They should. They should be better. They don't have commercials to worry about. They don't have
That's true.
TV stuff. They're just all streaming. So
Yeah.
it's so weird. And just thinking about like how we did a couple months ago, the Arrowverse season finale, and talking about Arrowverse moments and left a lot of moments on the table.
Facts.
But it would have just been easier if James Gunn just got all these characters, put them in one universe. But
Maybe he will. There's still
I
time.
I highly
It
doubt
probably
it.
not though.
So back to Marvel though, because DC hasn't made video games in forever. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 came out since we've been gone. Came out
It
almost
has.
be a month and a couple weeks. Breaks the sales record, becoming fastest selling PlayStation Studios game in PlayStation history. Sold 2.5 million copies worldwide in the first 24 hours.
Everyone was hyped for it, and it delivered. Like the video game is amazing. The story, the characters, the acting have all been top tier. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it won Game of the Year. I think it definitely think it's a Game of the Year
Mhm.
candidate. Just like the moments and like some of the side missions that these other villains. So maybe they'll have DLC, or maybe they're going to be in Spider-Man 3. If they do a Spider-Man 3, I think they should, because I think they have can do so much with the story.
They did talk about doing a Spider-Man 3. I saw this go through the airwaves, and I have not finished the main story at all, but I saw
I
something
have
that
not either.
they said Miles Morales is going to be the main character in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter today that officially going forward, he's going to be the main character of the Spider-Man story that they're telling. So again, I haven't finished the main story. I'm doing that today actually because I just got to get it done before their games come out that I want to play.
Yep, shout out to the anime podcast Naruto Storm Connections, aka Storm 5, is coming out in 12 days.
Yep, that's going to
So,
be hyped. I'm excited to play that.
oh yeah. So, yeah, it's really great for Spider-Man. I've already seen IGN. I've seen this article 5 billion times. It keeps popping out on my feeds how the Marvel Spider-Man game is the true successor to the Arkham series. And I sat down, I was like, well, I mean, they've built on the Arkham stuff and stuff from Arkham, and they're doing their thing as a single player. They got two people you can beat. I don't disagree. I mean, in terms of video games, there's always been the Injustice games, but in terms of this big single player
Mhm.
superhero game, Spider Man was net. It's been the next one.
Yeah, you don't really get too many single player superhero narrative games, and they've just done. Insomniac has done amazing.
Yeah.
Like Rocksteady did with Batman, Insomniac has done with Spider-Man 2. Still have Wolverine on the slate, so
Mm-hmm.
if they can knock it out with Spider-Man, I'm sure they're gonna knock it out with Wolverine too.
Yeah. So they've improved on stuff from Arkham stuff. Obviously, you're doing stuff in the day, and you could sometimes change the time. In Spider Man, you're doing stuff in the day. There's civilians, like normal people walking the streets. There's things
Yeah.
like there's interactions with them. There's random
hmm
crimes that happen. Like they've improved on all those things that Arkham and stuff didn't have a chance to prove on because they stopped. But
hmm
it's just weird. They're making this new stuff. Like you said, they got Wolverine coming. I know some people didn't like it, but for Avengers story mode was fantastic. Playing that with a group, shoot, there are times where I just want to get on and see who's on it and go fight some OLTs. Like,
Yeah.
and there's times now. That game has some of the hardest things I've ever fought in. Shout out to the Wakanda rate like that. Hey,
Man. If you want to see someone struggle, check out our Ray video on YouTube of me fighting against I can't think of the guy's
Claw,
name. Paul, yeah.
whose voice was the original voice in the X-Men and the X-Men shows from the '90s of Wolverine.
Yes, yep. He was taking me through my limit, bro.
And you want to talk about what if still to this day? I'll probably brought up every superhero pod. Why? What happened? When the Kree came? What was going down?
Yep. And right now would have been the perfect time because Captain the
Mm-hmm.
Marvels 2 is coming out this week. Would have had an excellent time to say, oh, the Marvels is coming out. Guess what? The Kree invasion is happening in the Avengers game. This would have been a perfect tie-in.
Shoot, they about to. It sounds like the MCU is doing the same thing the video game's about to do. You got to reassemble the original six Avengers. Shit, it's almost the same thing that they're making it sound like now.
Basically, hey,
Uh,
is Bruce gonna sell us out?
bro, that was boy. I need to sit down and watch that story because boy, that was crazy.
Was not expecting him. He was like, "Yeah, we are the problem." I was like, "Hey, yo, Bruce, chill.
And then his girl betrayed him.
Hey, be your own people, bro."
Wow, that is the story of that. Byron, anything else, man? We're gonna be back to review Captain Marvel. DC has nothing going. No, they have the Batman coming out on Switch, but to be honest, no one really cares. They leaked that the Robin Pattinson Batsuit was supposed to come out, then it did come out, but it came out too early. So it's probably going to come out in December for the Arkham game, but who cares? It's not like they're doing any more content for it. Arkham Origins hit 10 years, which I can really make the case that's the second best Arkham game of all time because that game was
Hmm.
heat, and they will not give it the PS5, Xbox Series X redo that it deserves because they have beef with that studio, which is crazy because it
Man,
wasn't
squash your beef, man. It's been 10 years. Just squash it already.
because it was WB Montreal and it wasn't Rocksteady. Even though Montreal that game is heat. I mean, Gotham Knights hasn't updated anything. Like, and we're
It's
supposed
a
to be entering this new
disappointment.
year. Suicide Squad to kill the Justice League.
Hey, it's supposed to be dropping February 4th. I don't believe it, but hey, please make a believer out of me.
Oh,
Please,
I
Suicide Squad.
I have not believed that. I didn't believe it so much. I said I'm not even pre-ordering this when I had the chance. I pre-ordered the Final Fantasy VII Part 2 instead. That comes
Facts.
out in February. So, Myron, anything else, man?
No, I think we covered it. Like you said, DC's been quiet, so Marvel has been dropping news. We'll see if these leaks are true, and if they are, we'll definitely have to talk about them.
Mm. With that being said, The Marvels comes out this Friday of recording. That is November 10th. We'll be seeing it that weekend, so we'll let you know how it goes. With that being said, L7C Podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C Podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.